What is up, Internet world, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2022 Mazda CX-5. So we had the chance to review the Mazda CX-50, which is pretty much the same thing as this, except it's a little bit longer and definitely more rugged and off-roady. So here we are in our studio to review this, the CX-5. Now its competition is vast. There's a ton of things it competes against, including of course the CR-V, the RAV4, the Escape, even the brand new Kia Sportage. This thing has a lot of competition. So let's see how it does. Now the CX-5 is only available in all-wheel drive. No more front-wheel drive as an option. You see, price points in the US start at $27,000, go all the way up to 38.5, and in Canada they start at 33 and change and go all the way up to 45, such as this. This is the Signature Edition. And with that Signature package, you get the upgraded 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque with regular gas. If you do put 93 octane, you get 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Now there is a naturally aspirated, and that is the exact same engine but without the turbo. A 2.5-liter 4-cylinder that makes 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque that I hear is more fun to drive. They both have a 6-speed automatic transmission, and of course, as I mentioned, they are both all-wheel drive. But if you want performance, you have to buy the turbo because you accelerate 260 miles an hour in 6.6 seconds compared to the naturally aspirated that takes about 8. Mazda CX-5 with a 2.5-liter turbocharged motor that makes 227 horsepower with regular fuel or 256 horsepower with the good stuff. But that's not important. It's the 320 foot-pounds of torque that's important, and the amount of torque steer I'm going to get out of this front-wheel drive based all-wheel drive system. This is the same engine as Ian's Mazda 3 Turbo. You get screeches out of the front wheels. So one of the biggest plays about this motor is that it's got a ton of power. Initially, it's like a really fast wind-up turbocharger, but it doesn't have a lot of top-end power push. So it's really good for the city, decent for jumping on the highway, or pretty good actually for jumping on the highway, but consistent, sustainable power. It essentially means you have power for the first 5 seconds of putting your foot down, and after that, it's kind of like fair. Not aggressive, fair. Doesn't this look more elegant than the CX-50? There is no LED indicators here, nor is there fog lights. It's actually up here in these headlights that look Jaguar-ish. I love these DRLs. They look so sporty. Now it doesn't have black here because it doesn't have the carbon package. It just has chrome, but there is a ton of black on this massive grille. But take a look at this emblem. Is this the biggest emblem you've ever seen? In the CX-50, the radar was down here, but in this one, it is actually up here built into the emblem. And this emblem is like hologram. It looks like a picture was taken and they slapped it on the front. So on the side of the CX-5, you will see that it's round. It's larger looking than the CX-50. That's more angular, short, hatchbacky looking, and definitely very cut. This thing is just rounded, and that is because the CX-50 is built off the CX-30 platform and the Mazda 3 platform. This is just designed for somebody that wants to be on the street and not rugged, even though they look kind of the same. They're just built on different platforms. People don't always talk about color when they think about Mazda, but Mazda does a really good job when it comes to the choice of colors. This is called polymetal gray. It looks a bit blue in here, but they also have a darker gray. They also have something called Soul Red that we reviewed in our Mazda Miata video, and that color really popped. So if you're looking at a different color, you can get something like that in this. Because this is a signature model, you actually get body color moldings all the way around, not plastic or dark colored. The other thing this does have, is it does have 360 cameras. They're hiding underneath here, and it does have a button here when you want to lock and unlock your doors. Unlike the Mazda 3, you can simply just put your hand and unlock. In this specific case, you have to push the button. On the back here, you'll see wheels, and you get ranges of 17s all the way to these, they're 19s. I do like the back, considering that it's almost 6 years old, this design. It's definitely more bulged out and rounded standing here and looking at the back. In terms of the CX-50, it's flat. This is rounded. This does tow 2,000 pounds instead of 3,500, so less towing. Now, when you have the turbo, you get these nice big exhausts, and they actually show. Other cars hide exhausts. Now, you got all the decals, obviously, that says Skyactiv G, which is what the engine represents, and of course the turbo. So a little bit too much badging for my liking, but hey, they obviously like their badging because look at the sill. It's an add-on, it's a lot of chrome. Not my favorite, but hey, it does have a power tailgate and of course a camera hiding. When the tailgate goes up, it exposes a flat load floor that has 36 inches worth of depth and 44 inches worth of width. Now it's important to note it does have a spare tire and also a cool feature that you can actually put the rear seats down, but you can put them down individually. The center seat can fold down because it has a 40-20-40 split. That is cool, and I haven't seen that before. Back seat of the CX-5. This has real Nappa leather, and you can actually get it in red, which is super cool. Now, when I put this down, I want to show this right off the gate because your heated seats are here on both sides. There's 3 increments, but also when you open up this little storage unit, there's 2 USBs hiding in there. That's cool. I thought that was kind of unique. I've usually seen them always down here. This does have vents, which is obviously cool at this price point, but it doesn't have a full roof, no panoramic, and that was only offered starting in the CX-50. Now it does have premium feel around here, and I do like the way these seats hold me in. They're firm, they're not soft, and when I look down, it has a pretty cool setup because you can get the coolest floor mats I've seen in a car at this price point. Okay. As far as headroom goes, there is a ton of headroom. As far as legroom goes, this is a little bit shorter than the CX-50. I have more legroom there. I have more headroom here. The other thing is these seats do not slide backwards and forwards. They only recline 1 increment, but they are comfortable. Front seat of the Mazda CX-5. Now I will say these seats have been upgraded to give me more support, and everything in here feels really good and premium. These are ventilated and heated seats, and they do have a heated steering wheel standard as well as heads-up display, and of course all the fun stuff like a 360 camera. But I do have a complaint right off the bat, and that is this armrest. It is padded well, but it doesn't slide. And for me, when I'm putting my elbows right, I want something here. I have to put my elbow back, which kind of looks normal, but it slopes downward, so I slide. Complaint number 1. It does have wireless charging with a button that says on or off. It does have 2 USBs hiding in there and 2 cigarette plugs, which is cool. I also like the fact that this actually has a good stitching all the way up versus in the CX-50. It had this like makeshift 1970s stitching, which was kind of weird, and the vinyl they used was like cheap quality. Not my favorite. In here it just feels more like well thought of. And that's because it's been on the market for 5 years, so that makes sense. Something that you cannot see, but I can feel, is where the pedal is. The accelerator pedal is actually hinged to the floor, so I'm pressing it this way, not from above where I have to push it down. And that makes me feel premium, because premium products have that little feature. So nice touch, Mazda. Now when I'm sitting in here, I can tell you visibility is obviously good because I'm sitting higher like most SUVs, but this A-pillar is at a medium size. It's not super skinny and it's not super wide, but I can notice it in the back. When I look over there, it is actually tight. I would expect a little bit more visibility from looking in that direction in my blind spot area. But everything else feels really good, especially when I look at this big upgraded screen. It's a 10.3-inch screen and it's available throughout the trim levels. Now the steering wheel is well placed and has a lot of good buttons, including the paddle shifters. The material itself is pretty hard, and it's similar to the Miata steering wheel. It's different from the Mazda 3 steering wheel, which I prefer to have, to be honest. Now the coolest part is the start and stop button. You see, when you look at it closely, it has an amber light, but when I press the brake, it turns to green, which means it's ready to be pressed and it'll work. That is cool because it's just a little tiny touch that Mazda thought about. To me, this feels really premium, a lot more premium than a CR-V or a RAV4 could offer. Those ones are just more economy-like. Now, this is economy as well, but Mazda just does a better job in their interiors more than the others. Now, Kia with the Sportage has done a really, really good job in the interior, and it's the newer model. Now, it's kind of unfair to talk about this in terms of comparing it to that, because that is a brand new model, brand new build, full new platform. This thing is still a regen of their stuff that they designed 6 years ago. It's got instant power, and it sounds throaty and meaty. So it has more performance. It makes it more fun, makes it more sporty in terms of the engine. In terms of steering, I think it's decent. It does a good job. It still, like most SUVs in this class, feels kind of unnatural and feels like an afterthought. When you turn the steering wheel, then it reacts. It's not a German car in that space where you can't just turn and feel it directly. It still feels a bit floaty. And of course, like, it still looks a bit floaty. It doesn't look sporty. The front end does a good job looking sporty, but the side and the back just really looks like a regular SUV. And to add to that, this thing has a 6-speed transmission. It should really have an 8-speed. Just to save for fuel, I'm averaging about 11 liters per 100 kilometers, and that seems to be the number on most Mazdas with this motor in it. It doesn't really get to the 8s and the 9s like some of its other competitors, so that's maybe a little bit of a disappointment. And that's why most people will tell you to probably not buy the turbo, just buy the regular engine. That's also as fun. You can kind of wind it up and get some movement there. This thing's just got initial torque, so if you just are used to coming out of a 6-cylinder and you want some power, then I kind of understand that. So the question is, would I buy one of these things? And I would not. I would buy the CX-50. I just like the design of it. I like everything that offers. I like the newness of it. And I really like the fact that they're niching themselves. This is not really a niche car. This is just, hey, here's an SUV. It's midsize. See if it works for you. I like the niche part of the CX-50. It's rugged. It's cool looking. It's kind of like a slam station wagon look vibe to it with big wheels. I really, really dig that. And again, it just, the same premium inside. The only thing I don't like about it, though, is I don't like that vinyl dash. This dash is way better. That's my opinion. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.